Okay, Jump Master, I still believe in you. Grant us a safe landing this time and a glorious team victory awaits. Okay then. Welcome to episode 2 of Undercover Vicar's adventures in Apex Legends. Apex Legends is played by someone who should know better. This is the channel that champions the challenged, celebrates the catastrophic, and showcases the media of the mediocre. If you came here looking for epic gameplay, then you're, well, gonna have to keep looking. But if you're looking for a video made by someone who spends most of his game time waiting to be respawned, and who finds this kind of dialogue amusing,
my coil produces 1.2 million volts.
Then welcome aboard! So let's dive in with this edition, looking at lessons I have learned along the way. Apex Legends is a learning experience. Every game played teaches us something new, whether that's good, bad, or downright ugly. You're going to learn a lot of things while you're playing this game, so I'm going to take a little look here at some of the lessons that I have learned. And we're going to go straight in with Lesson 1. Random teammates can be very random. Yes, we touched on this in episode 1, but it's worth repeating. Random teammates are a lucky dip. If you're playing with your friends, then you know what to expect, but if you're going in solo, you're going to get paired up with random strangers. Sometimes you'll find a diamond in the rough, and sometimes you'll find a cubic zirconia in your dental floss. Either way, you've got to roll with it. You can never predict what random teammates are going to be like. Sometimes they'll sync up with you perfectly and your game plans will align. Sometimes they're after something completely different to what you're after, and sometimes they're just downright weird. So, when you go into a game of Apex Legends, you never know what you're gonna get. Every player is playing Apex Legends for their own reasons. Sometimes those reasons will gel perfectly with yours and you'll have a cracking game where the whole team is synchronous and goes through in one piece to a glorious victory. Sometimes those aims aren't exactly what you were after, but you can adjust and adapt and go along and still get the win. And sometimes those aims are so radically different that you have no choice but to just grit your teeth, get yourself ready for death, and then get ready for the next game. But above all, everyone is playing Apex Legends to enjoy themselves. Sometimes you're going to be let down by your teammates, sometimes you're going to let down your teammates. Everyone sees each game differently. Your perception on a game may not be the same as your teammates. But remember, when you're pointing that finger of blame either at yourself or usually at your teammates when things have all gone wrong, remember the wise words of a certain bald starship captain who once said, "It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life." Unless, of course, you're playing in ranked and some idiot has just cost you 24 points. But less said about that, the better. No, I'm not at all bitter. No, honestly. Let's just move on. Thank you. So yeah, you didn't necessarily make any mistakes. Your teammates didn't necessarily make any mistakes. Sometimes luck will factor into it. Sometimes you'll come up against a team where they're armed to the teeth and all you've got is a Mozambique. Some players will be better than you. Some players will be worse than you. Sometimes it comes down to luck. I've seen level 500 players be the first team eliminated, and I've seen level 3 players win a game. Sometimes luck is an element of it, sometimes skill is an element of it. When you're getting started in Apex Legends, you're going to encounter a lot of players who are a greater skill level than you. It doesn't mean you've made mistakes, it doesn't mean you're doing things wrong. Every game is a learning experience. Just remember that along the way. And also for you more experienced players out there who come across the weaker experienced players, just remember, if you've got a teammate who's much lower than you are, then they're still learning. Help them out along the way. Everyone had to learn at some point, everyone started somewhere. Everybody goes through those frustrating first few games where nothing seems to be going right and you've got no idea what's going on. That's pretty much still my gameplay now, and I've been playing this for quite some time. But if you are encountering one of those players, or if you are one of those players, help each other out. That's the way you get through it. Now, a lot of people say that communicating via headsets is the only way to play the game, but not everyone wants to do that, not everyone can do that. So Apex has a built-in communication system that relies on pings.
Body shield here. Level 1.
Phoenix, get here.
How about this way? Body shield here. Shield battery here.
You can ping where there's some loot, you can ping where there's an open door, you can ping where there's a closed door, you can ping a destination to go, you can ping for where the enemies are, you can ping when you're down, you can ping when you're deathboxed. And the pinging system is very, very useful, but just remember not to overdo it.
Another squad. Damn it! That hurt. I'm down. I spy an enemy. Enemy here.
Adding another gas trap. My vision is is
Look out,
clear.
enemy here. Target here. I have eyes on the enemy. Enemy right here. Enemy target here. Look out, enemy here. Enemy here.
Care package being
This way, let's
delivered.
go. Look out, enemy here.
There's a new
Getting shot at.
Yep, randoms are very much a lucky dip. Sometimes you'll get someone who'll run into the ring to fetch something for you, and sometimes you'll find someone who'll just want to loot your death box before they bother respawning you. Either way, it's a part of a game. Keep smiling, enjoy yourself, and crack on. Which brings us on to lesson number 2. Where you land matters. At the start of the game, one of you will be the jump master, and if that's you, try and pick a sensible location to aim for. If you're interested in getting quick kills and getting into the fight straight away, then hot dropping is a good idea, trying to land where everybody else is going to land. This normally results in a massive scrap with all the weapons being snatched up really quickly, and sometimes you've got to rely on melees and smacking the living daylights out of your opponent. These games usually end up with a lot of kills in the very first few moments of the game, and if you're unlucky, you're going to be one of those kills. But if you're lucky enough to get a few kills, get some decent weapons and get out of there, you're putting yourself in a strong position for the rest of the game. But that's not everybody's style. Some people like to land far away from everybody else and gather up as much equipment and supplies as possible before venturing in. Some people like to lurk around in the shadows. Some people like to avoid confrontation altogether, which is a bit weird for a battle royale, but trust me, when you're looking for a win, it sometimes works. So, picking the right landing spot is essential, but if you find that you're the jump master and by the time you land both of your teammates have split off and gone somewhere else, then maybe they had a different idea about where they should land. All by myself, don't wanna be... Try not to take it personally. Which brings us on to lesson 3, choose your loadout carefully. Now when you land, it's usually a mad scramble and you'll grab absolutely everything that you can possibly lay your hands on in whatever supply bins you can get to. So you'll end up with an odd assortment of weapons, ammunition and accessories that don't necessarily fit onto that weapon, but hey, you're going to run around with them just in case you find a different one. Once you've had chance to settle down a little bit, take a look at what you've got. Dump out everything that you don't need. If you're carrying an alternator and a sentinel, then you probably don't need that energy ammo, so get rid of it. Make some space in your inventory for whatever you do actually need. When it comes to picking what weapons you use, think about the style of play that you're looking for. If you're one of these players who likes to hide in the shadows and snipe at people, then loading up with a pair of P2020s is probably not the best way of proceeding. Likewise, if you're one of these players who loves to run into a room and start firing at anyone who's there, having a sentinel is probably not the greatest choice of weapon. So choose your weapons accordingly. Apex has a training area, it has a firing range, so you can go onto it and try out the different weapons, figure out what the different attachments do, find out which weapons suit you the best. Don't be afraid to use the firing range to get some practice in. Go in there and in the comfort of an area where you're not going to get sniped in the back of the head, try out the different ammunitions, try out the different weapons, try out the different attachments. There's training dummies in there that won't fight back much. So, take out your frustrations on them. You want to learn how to get some headshots with a Kraber? Well, go in the firing range, grab hold of a Kraber, and show those practice dummies who's boss. They had it coming to them. You should have heard what they said about you before the game started. Disgusting. Lesson number 4. Finishers aren't just for show. There's nothing more satisfying than when you've knocked someone down, being able to walk over and perform a finisher on them. Equally, there's nothing more frustrating than being knocked down and have someone come over and finish you. But finishers aren't just for show. I've been playing this game now since the Halloween special came out last year, and I've only recently found out that finishers actually have a function. If you perform a finisher on an opponent, your shields will be fully recharged. So this is a reason why people do it. It's not just because they can and just because, you deserve it, but finishers have a function. So remember that when you're in the heat of battle, if your shields are running low and you have the opportunity to do a finisher, not only does it look cool, but you'll get a fully restored shield out of it. And lesson number 5, daily challenges can make you a better player. Apex Legends will give you a set of daily challenges which you can either do or ignore, it's entirely up to you. But taking on these challenges can help to make you a better player, especially if the challenges involve playing as a character that you don't normally play as. I don't play as Crypto very much because, quite frankly, I'm rubbish when it comes to using the drone, but if I have a daily challenge that says get 2 knockdowns as Crypto or play 2 games as Crypto, then I'm going to have a go with it. Just remember though, if you're playing a character that you don't normally play, their abilities are going to be different. So, when you think you're about to throw smoke into a room because you're usually Bangalore, but then you just stand in the doorway and throw a drone at them because you're playing as Crypto and they turn you into Coleslaw, then maybe you should have paid a little bit more attention to which character you're actually playing. But if you want to take the challenges even further, there is the Battle Pass, and yes, I know you have to spend money to get it, and no, I'm not being paid by Apex Legends to say this. But getting the Battle Pass is totally worth it. As well as the 4 daily challenges, you'll be given an additional 7 weekly challenges. And these weekly challenges are usually quite substantial, a lot more substantial than the daily challenges. And so pushing yourself out of your comfort zone by taking on these weekly challenges will make you a better player. It'll make you a more rounded player, you'll understand the other characters more, you'll understand the other weapons more. Using the challenges will make you a better player. Listening to me, not so much. Challenges, yes. So in conclusion, every game is a lesson waiting to be learned, but it's meant to be a fun lesson. So, as long as you're still enjoying it, keep playing, keep killing people in the game, and keep enjoying yourselves. Rack up the kills, rack up the challenges, become a better player, and enjoy playing Apex Legends. That's it for this edition. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give me a thumbs down. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Undercover Vicar, over and out.